Three guys who combined to play 15 seasons in the National Football League trenches. Well, two guys. And Mackey, who didn't do shit. This is the O-Line Committee.
Oh no, we accidentally hit the live button. Oh no.
I don't know if Alex's Walmart connection can handle it, boys. I don't.
You know, actually, we have never tested Boonie's Walmart internet on a live stream before. So
oh yeah,
this might actually be problematic.
What?
Houston, come in.
We're here.
We're here.
We're
Are
here.
you there? Can you hear
Kick
us?
Kick Johnny off the Xbox. We got to go live.
We don't have an Xbox. No, it's all good. We're good.
We made it.
We made it.
We are live for the second time ever in the near 2-year history. The only other time I was at an airport when Jim Harbaugh took that.
It was Harbaugh.
When he got hired by the Chargers?
Was it Harbaugh or was it
a year ago?
Was it Harbaugh or was it when they fired Pete Carroll? It was one of the two.
It might have been
maybe
like
Harbaugh.
Both things happened, but this dude, we were talking about. Yeah, we'll probably do. We're definitely doing 2 episodes this week.
For
probably
sure.
like Tuesday, maybe like Tuesday, like Thursday, and then all this stuff starts coming down the pipeline today. The first day of legal tampering or the negotiation period.
Oh, there was
So,
some
all right,
tampering for sure. There was some violating.
Dude, listen, hold on. Before it's amazing to me
dirty.
that people are like, it's the legal tampering window. 5 minutes in, it's like, this person has agreed to terms. It's like, wow, that was a quick 5-minute negotiation. Wild how that works.
Hey Terry, nothing changed, right? No. All right, we're good.
Hey,
What do you mean nothing
changed?
changed?
Hey, nothing changed from Harry and Izzy's, right? We're good. We still all agree.
Hey,
Everyone
Elmos,
good.
remember the thing on the napkin?
Remember
We
the
talked
thing,
about it?
napkin under the beers? Yeah, I got it
Oh
right
yeah,
here.
yeah. We're good. He's sorting through them. Which one was it? Oh my!
So here's
gosh.
what we're gonna do. I'm gonna throw. We're gonna go back
Do
to
it.
our
Throw 'em out.
who's the mic format. I'm gonna throw out a series of mics. And by the way, if you're new, maybe you're just discovering O-Line Committee here. Welcome in. Click that like button, the subscribe button on the O-Line Committee YouTube channel. Jeremiah Sirles, Alex Boone.
I got
decade
my
and a half in
mics
the
ready
NFL.
to roll. We got to roll. Here we go.
We have to start with some Vikings related stuff because I know
Oh,
people
my
are
God.
people
You
are
will.
frenzied right now.
Do we have to right now?
Yeah.
I was thinking we go in so many other directions, but okay.
Let's spend some time on the Vikings here.
do
So the first mic is Ryan Kelly. Ryan Kelly, 4-time Pro Bowler, 32
guy.
years old.
Yep.
Alabama, first round pick out of Alabama like a decade ago. And he had a knee thing last year. He's definitely showing his age in the NFL. I personally love this because J.J. McCarthy's coming in. If there's not an easy option to align age-wise with his career, at least get someone that can pass protect. And Garrett Bradbury has not been great in pass protection really at all in his career. So for a short-term 2-year solution at center, now Bradbury's still on the team.
Which is
So they're going to either
awkward.
cut him or trade him. I wonder what he's thinking right now.
It's
tonight.
one of those. It's one of those. Who gets
Hey.
the phone call like, "Hey, you're on Twitter, right? Like you saw
what we did.
Twitter-
why don't you
back
why,
up,
don't
right?
you just come in the office? Like, we want to explain something to you. I'll bring your playbook.
Don't leave your playbook at home. Hey, I wouldn't be surprised though if they tried to kick Bradbury to guard.
Stop.
Like that.
No, I
I'm-
knew you.
I'm
I
just-
knew you were going to say
Listen,
that.
I'm just gonna say it. Like clearly Ryan's not going anywhere, but
Stop.
snapping the ball because and 2, we all know why. He's smart. Obviously, we got a young quarterback. Here's a guy who's older, veteran, going to come in help this guy. But at the same time, I'm just saying. I'm not saying it's going to work. I'm just saying I could see them going, "Hey, we got him. We need guards. Let's let him fight it out." Like
Mac,
let's
you
let
probably
him.
know this. What's his contract situation? What's
Is
his
this
dead
Bradbury?
cap?
This 5th year?
Like,
This is the last year of his contract.
Okay.
He is so his cap number. Let me see here. I got the spreadsheet of glory here on this other computer. So
You have so many spreadsheets.
So let me just dig
get
into
your
the spreadsheet
spreadsheet out
here.
Statistically
Yeah, sure.
speaking.
get your spreadsheet out, nerd.
So if you look at the prorated bonus here and you extrapolate it, so his cap hit is $6 million. If the Vikings cut him pre-June 1st, they do save $3.6 million of the cap.
No,
If
that's
it's a
not
trade, I think it's pretty similar. We can look.
Hey,
at
I bet
Yeah,
you.
that's-
Listen, $6 million. I bet you they keep him and they go. You're fighting it out on the interior with the rest of the guys.
I think they keep him. They keep him and trade him. There's
I don't even-
always
I don't know
you keep him and you try and trade for him. There's never. I mean, he's a veteran center, played a ton of football. Someone will want him.
Yeah,
You
but
know,
I don't
if
know
I'm
what
his agent,
center,
if I'm his
though.
agent, I'm saying cut me right now.
Oh
Like,
yeah,
cut
for
me,
sure.
'cause
You want
there's
out.
There's still money out there on the table because that's what happens. Is sometimes teams will do this where they stack guys and they're like, we're just gonna we're just going to hold on to him for a while. And then they wait until teams run out of money. And then they're like, oh, hey, we want you back, but it's at a quarter of the original number we were going to pay you. Right. So they might just wait this out a little bit and see if anyone calls on wave 2 of free agency and a trade deal. Because guess what they need? Draft picks.
They got 4 draft picks.
They need draft
picks. A little
picks.
6th-round pick over here. You get a starting center.
Right?
You know?
Like, I mean, you could easily trade him for a 6th. Someone would take him.
But Debo garnered a 5th. Like, I feel like teams are being really stingy with some of these trades. No, we'll get to the blockbuster trade that happened today. But
just wait.
So also with the Vikings, just like literally 10 minutes ago, Byron Murphy Jr., it is wild the money that's being doled out right now. Byron Murphy Jr., who's a good cornerback, but he had kind of one breakout year after a few just kind of, working his way through the league years. And he signs not signed yet, agrees to a 3-year,
agreed to terms,
$6 million, $22 million a year. And I think that puts him number 2 behind J.C. Horn in terms of average annual value for corner.
Who, by the way, just got a massive extension. Good for him.
25, yeah.
I mean, dude, you're not kidding. They're throwing money around. But at the same time, if you don't, somebody else will, which is why free agency is so fun. Dude, it's so fun because you're playing this game of if we don't pay him, we know this is a need around the league. Just pay him. Like the wars upstairs have to be going back and forth. Like, dude, he's a cornerback, though. We don't have a lot of them. Just pay him whatever it is, and then another team jumps in later, and the team's like, "I thought we were cool. Why are we not cool anymore? I thought we agreed to this." Like,
people in the comments want Boone to trade the Vikings guards.
Well, here's what also happens, right? Teams spend all day, and they've spent the last month getting ready for free agency, and it opens this morning, and all of a sudden they swing and a whiff, swing and a whiff. Swing and a whiff, and then they start panicking a little bit, and they're like, "Pay him! We can't not sign someone today, right? Like, just pay him whatever he wants." We're like, "Sure, pay him right now."
Can't be the Cowboys. Pay him.
Hey,
pay that
they had a signing today.
Money.
Hey, Booney, the Cowboys signed a wonderful long snapper today. Trent C, 3-year, $4.45 million.
And did they sign that Javonte Williams too?
Everybody.
Well, good for them.
They did sign.
They got Javonte Williams for
1 year, $3 million. That's not
bad. Nah, good for him. All right, listen. Am I going to do it? Are you going to do it? Who's doing it?
Well, hold on. My last question on bike-related news.
I thought we were off the
How in are you on Will Fries, whatever the hell his last name is?
The correct way to answer that question is: would you like fries with that?
Would you like fries with that with Ryan Kelly? Now, would you want to bring his boy over and just basically move the Colts interior offensive line into Viking offensive line?
Which has been notably tough for a very long time. And also because one of the guys who's not coming in free agency is still with the Colts, but Q now, who amazing no matter what you say. But I mean, still, before Mackey says anything, that's a great point, Jay, that they'd be coming together. Like they already have this continuity. You're kind of like, hey, you guys know each other. You guys can help us build this culture in this room. I like that. That's dirty.
I would throw it back to you guys because let's say
no, you can't throw it back to us.
But like Will Fries,
we threw it to you.
I want your take, Mac.
We told you we're in love with this,
even though you've probably been talking about it for the last 8 hours.
Yeah, we love this idea.
We did 3 episodes of Purple Daily, totaling 3 hours and 45 minutes, I believe, today.
One signing at 9 p.m.
What? Yeah.
No, they signed the Eagles' 5th cornerback. They signed. They re-signed their punter Ryan Wright.
Oh yeah. Big day.
Some good stuff. But here's my thing. I think you nailed it a couple minutes ago, Jay. Teams get desperate early in free agency. That okay, we came in here. It's like your fantasy football auction where you go in and you got your $200 budget, and you know that you want to get a running back, and you're like, I'm going to budget $75 for one of the top 2 running backs, and then all your idiot friends bid those guys up to $90, and you're looking around at the Bears over here, like what's the Bears are drunk. Just
what are you talking about? You don't even need this position. Stop.
Yeah, and they're tripling up. So I would be careful if I'm the Vikings, and it's between. Would I rather have a 26-year-old entering his prime offensive guard? 100%. But if it's like $18 million a year for Will Fries,
I don't think
or $9 million for 1 year of Brandon Scherf or Kevin Zeitler?
Boone, what do you mean you don't think it will be? Did you not see what they paid Aaron Banks in Green Bay?
Yeah, I saw that.
4 years for 77?
Although the only guaranteed portion of that contract is the signing bonus, so it's a little bit
That's
funny money.
That's the other piece of these.
I had read something that it was not as good as it looked.
That's what's funny about some of these deals is agents specifically. I'm gonna put in my soapbox here for a second. Agents specifically will love to pound their chest a little bit and look in like, oh, look at this deal. The structure of these deals is so much more important, right? True. The structure of how it's built. Where's the guaranteed money? Where's the out? Where's the void year? Right? Like that stuff is so important because you could have a 5-year, $200 million contract. If only the first year is guaranteed, you're not seeing that money. Like you're not, right? And so just because you see these crazy big numbers, I always wait until I can go in and read the contract and actually see how it's structured before I go, ooh, that was a good deal, or man, that was not a very well structured
right,
deal.
But if you put the agent hat back on, you know what you want? You want Adam Schefter tweeting out
for sure.
Such and such agency just landed a $80 million massive contract, right?
Yeah, it looks great on Twitter. Looks great on Twitter.
Yes. So Vikings, they still have probably enough room to sign a couple more players here too. They're right now, I believe, hosting Jonathan Allen for dinner somewhere in Minneapolis.
Manny's.
Because he was cut by.
I guarantee you.
Well, dude,
he's in the back room at Manny's right now.
Apparently, they use the restaurant that's attached to the hotel next to the practice facility.
Oh, the Omni?
Yeah, there's like a restaurant.
It is a nice restaurant.
Oh yeah, that's beautiful over there.
We've eaten there a few times. That's a good spot.
Okay. Very fair.
I mean, they probably don't want to let him out of Egan. Right, no, they don't want to let him go, but he's going to demand a bag. Yeah, and I mean a bag.
Yeah, he's 32. He's coming off an injury last year.
Dude, he's like Grady Jarrett. The minute they cut Grady Jarrett, he just got swooped up by the Bears, and it was like, oh well, that was stupid. Jesus, could have traded him out. Then you know what that is? That's everyone going, no, we don't want him. We're definitely going for him. Yes, I loved it. I thought it was great.
All right, next Mike.
All right, here we go. We're doing it. We're doing it. I'm sorry.
I don't know what it is in your mind.
Yeah, no, it is. In your ADD brain.
Do you want to throw a mic out?
Here it is. You ready? The Bears. What they have done. Offensive line. I mean, good golly, Miss Molly. They went fucking nuts, and I am so excited to see what they do. I mean, you want to talk about a coach that comes in right away and is like, listen, one of the number one problems was this guy got hit way too much. Yeah, we were calling silly things for him to do. That's going to change. But now we can officially say the core is protected. Dude, they went out, Jonah Jackson, Thuney, and now you talk about Dalman. I'm like, okay, I get what they're doing. And now you can even draft a tackle because, dude, those guys can at times, you're like, okay, I'd rather have a young one than an old one. But the talent nowadays that some of these kids can do, like, dude, some of the 40s this year were incredible. And it's like, man, if I go draft one of those and I have a really solid core and I got a young quarterback back here and we have a whole bunch of playmakers over here and a really good defense, oh my God, we might be onto something. Like, dude, this really gets me excited. And not only that, they were the ones that swooped up Grady Jarrett.
I mean, they decided, I think that my guess is somewhere Dan Campbell's watching his boy Ben Johnson with just a little tear. Right, like he did learn.
Proud.
He did learn.
Proud.
You build the team from the inside out, right? Like you did learn. You went and did it, right? Good for you, man. And also, I don't know who the O-line coach of the Bears is yet, but you're welcome, right? Like you took that job.
You got another year.
You took that job, and you were like, oh gosh, okay, here we go. And then they're like, hey, we're gonna bring you a guy that's already wearing a gold jacket, a guy that
Dan Rauscher.
Yeah, Dan. Congratulations, buddy. We even got you the top center in free agency, and we brought you over Jonah from the Rams. I mean, your interior core, and you have a top 10 pick at right tackle. Dude, you find a solid left tackle, and then you get Caleb to not see ghosts and hold on to the football with his painted nails too long. You're going to be just fine.
You're going to be fine. You're going to be fine. Don't, Mackie. Don't start it.
But here's the thing. This isn't – okay, I'm going to pour some cold water on this, all right?
Go for it.
Please.
This isn't the first time in Bears history, the last 4 or 5 decades, that they've made splashes in free agency. I don't know if they've ever overhauled 60% of their offensive line in
I don't know
1 week,
3 days.
They might be onto something new here.
But there is something about that franchise that repels offense. They have been – I don't think they have is that true? They don't have a 4,000-yard passer in franchise history.
Yeah.
Seriously?
Yeah.
You can count on one hand how many times they've had a top 5 ranked offense in the last like 50 years. So I'm kind of in Caleb Williams. Some of the problems people put the sacks and stuff, right? Didn't he get sacked like 9 times in one of those games last year?
Yeah, it was
And
bad.
people put that on you guys, the offensive line, that it's just a garbage offensive line. And I think there's room to say that Caleb Williams at USC and his first year in Chicago is much better scooting around and trying to keep a play alive than throwing on schedule. And Ben Johnson's offense in Detroit with Jared Goff was very much timing on schedule. You don't see Jared Goff running circles around for 12 seconds before unleashing the football. So I'm still skeptical of the Bears offense, even after some big signing.
But
I'm totally cool with you. And listen, I'm cool with him being skeptical, but I think the one thing that's cool about this is it adds another dimension to his offense, right? Like, hey, we don't have to hit this on timing, because if we don't, well, then we can roll this way or we can run this way. Or imagine what we can do now that the quarterback actually has legs. Stop it.
We need a 30 for 30 on Boone.
By the way,
just an 8-part docuseries on Netflix, please.
I listen. No one's saying that we have to be excited. I'm just excited about what they've done up front. I'm excited that they've gone out and they've been like, okay, we really screwed the pooch last year. Let's turn around, redo this, and let's see if we can't fix this kid. Because if you don't fix him now, you're never going to. But hey, I think it's great because this division is competitive as shit. And this is what they needed to go and actually go smack the Lions in the mouth. And if you're going to go smack your dad and big brother over there in Detroit, you need something to go at him with. Grady Jarrett's a huge signing for them. The 3 guys in the interior are massive for them. Super excited.
I mean, again, he's building it from the inside out. And he talked about that in his introductory press conference of what they want to be, the identity. And you talk about taking things off Caleb, be able to run the football. Right, be able to run the football. I mean, and you're looking around in the NFC North. Vikings weren't great at running the football. Detroit was great. Green Bay was better at it. They're going to take a more run the football type approach here. And I mean, that defense, I know it didn't. I think that defense last year just played a little uninspired because they were like, we can't score points. Right, like this is brutal to just play against. So that defense gets a little more fire lit to them too. They bring Grady Jarrett over there. That's going to be a very, very good football team.
Yeah, they're looking at their division. I mean, the Lions are a fully formed contending product. The Vikings just won 14 games with Sam Darnold last year, and they're adding pieces. And and the Packers maybe struggled with the best teams in the league, but the Packers are a double-digit win team, and they've got one of the youngest teams in the NFL. It's like Bears. Those other 3 teams aren't falling all the way back, so you got to go catch them.
You got to keep up. Yeah, no, it's a great division, dude.
Yeah, there's no rebuild going on in Chicago. They're trying to just jump right into contender.
Which they should, like we talked about before, how many times, there's not a lot of times that you have this rookie scale quarterback, right, where the talent is out of control and you don't have to pay him a lot of money. So it's like, listen, if you don't win in these years, you're really going to be clamoring later when you have to cut everybody off the team. Like, I think about mass exodus is like the Bills a couple of years ago when they were like, I just remember seeing one of the guys and he was like, oh God, it's terrible. It's just so bad. It was like a scene from The Office. It was like, man, I can't imagine what it's like over there, just having to just cut everybody. And then you're like, well, we got to start all over again. I mean, when you can do it, when these guys aren't getting paid anything and they're talented as shit, you got to go. You have to strike while the iron is hot. And that's why the Bears right now are like, dude, we are all in right now. New coach, new look, new everything. Let's go.
Yeah, I mean, the NFC North is not slowing down by any stretch of the imagination. I mean, Green Bay is going to continue to get better. Minnesota enters into the J.J. McCarthy era officially, and Chicago's going,
Mac.
we're not – I think Chicago looked around and goes, we're not going to be a distant fourth. Like, we can't – there's no looking around going, we'll be able to build for a year. Like, you can't get waxed by your division.
In there. Right. Sorry.
You can't just get waxed by your division and be like, it's okay. We're going to go for next year.
Oh, that city will not put up with that. No. Not a chance.
So,
couple things real quick here. So, Forlorn Hope shouts out in the comment section, 32,000 subs, 800 plus, now almost 1,000 people watching live right now on the O-Line Committee YouTube channel. Great show, great community. Amen.
Ooh,
Thank you for the shout out, Forlorn Hope. If you're stumbling into this for the first time, click that subscribe button, click that like button here, and you'll get your fix of NFL talk from a trenches perspective.
Can I give some flowers?
Do it.
Yeah,
Can I give some flowers? My man, Joshua Allen.
Oh,
$330 million.
dude.
What? Dude, that's like an astronomical number to actually think about. Like, to really think about it, and not just 330, 250 fully guaranteed.
Saw that.
What? Like, dude, how do you even? I don't even know how you call your parents and be like, "Hey, Dad, guess what I did today?
I got a raise.
I got a raise at work.
Boss loves me. Let me show you how much."
Dude,
yeah,
but I know I keep coming up short on the big final project, but
don't
they love me.
I'm so close. I'm so close. They still love me. Yeah, no, hey, congratulations. Him, and you know who else? Saquon. Same thing. Like, dudes got paid. Now they turned right around. They were like, you know what? You know what? The Giants didn't want to pay you. We're going to pay you twice. We're going to pay you twice because we love you that much more here. Both of them. You read it and you're like, God damn, rich getting richer. Like, where was that love when we were playing? My God.
Well, the cap, dude. The cap just keeps going up and up and up. But this goes back to it. It's going to be so fascinating to watch how the Bills have to structure that team now.
Yeah,
right? I think the main reason that they paid Josh what they did is they watched what Josh was able to do this year with what he had. Right? They were like, you are so good. We can put above average to top third receivers on this team, have a really good offensive line, and you'll make it like Brady did forever. You're good enough to make everyone around you so much better. Right. And they paid him that because they know now with this contract, you're not going to be able to pay a T. Higgins, a Jamar Chase, a Justin Jefferson. Right. You can try, but there's going to be 30% of your cap within like 2 or 3 people. They know that Josh can elevate that team to a whole nother level just based off of what he can do alone. And I believe that he proved that last year. And that's why the Bills felt comfortable. Like, all right, buddy, here's your bag. Now it's your show. Here's what's going to happen.
Can I say,
they
too?
They also lost Mac Hollins.
Yeah,
Mac Hollins walking barefoot into New England, right?
Yeah, I mean, was that? But does that scream like huge loss to me? Like, if I'm the Buffalo Bills, like, yeah, was he a good player? But does that scream like panic button, right? Like, oh, we lost Mac Hollins, right? Like, love Mac, no disrespect, but there's a lot of Macs out there. There's a lot of Mac Hollins in the NFL.
The custodians are like, thank God.
No, I'm just saying that's a great.
From his feet off
Mac Hollins a great example of like getting one of those guys paid. Like, obviously, you said it. There's Mac Hollins that are a dime a dozen, but all of a sudden, Josh Allen starts to be like, hey, I love your rhythm, I love your timing. All of a sudden, he makes you what you are. Now you're in New England kicking ass with one of those teams that are just dropping bags everywhere in front of everybody. Like, you need a bag, and you need a bag. We haven't done this in years, so this is new to us, guys. You need a bag. Like, dude, when was the last time the Patriots were forking out $250 million in one day? Normally, Bill's back there like, wow.
It's almost like when you have that much cap space, it's almost hard because you have to overpay not great players sometimes.
You have to overbuy. You have to
overpay. That's what free agency is, baby. Overpaying.
You got.
And then there's rules about the NFL. Like, if you don't spend 95% of your cap over 4 years, so some years you have to spend over the cap, and you're like, man, they really, really fucked up. But that's when guys come out and they're like, I got extension.
I remember when Matt Patricia was the coach for the Lions.
Oh, God.
My agent, who's my business partner, he said that he met with one of the guys. He doesn't work there anymore, but he said, like, we're hearing a lot of agents talk about that the price is higher to play here, right? Like, you have to play for that environment, and that's what happens when you're a bad franchise and you haven't won football games in a long time. The only way you're getting players to come there is to overspend, right? And that's how you feel like you have to get yourself out of the room versus a team like the Washington Commanders, right? That is now was forever and always.
That's your mic.
Was forever and always kind of a doldrums franchise of like, do I really want to go play for the Commanders? Yes, I'll get paid, but what are we going to do for my 4 years here? Versus now you look at it and go, dude, that's a team. Like,
right.
I want to play with that young cat who's on a rookie deal, which means I can still get my bag for 4 years and still go try and compete for Super Bowls. 100%.
And let me lay this out too for people that maybe I don't know, maybe you were actually working on a Monday and not just staring at the internet all day like I was. The Commanders, two things. The Commanders a few days ago, they traded for Deebo Samuel. We covered that, I believe, on last week's episode.
Yep.
But they came in today and they said, and what one of you guys brought up with Caleb Williams with the Bears, this is the beauty of having a rookie scale contract quarterback, is you get a window of like a half decade and you can put a bunch of other expensive players on your team. So they went out and said, All right, we could use a left tackle upgrade. Let's see here. Let's start at the top of the list and work our way down.
That's
so
exactly
they traded for Houston's Laremy Tunsil.
Stud.
Washington gets Laremy Tunsil and a 2025 fourth rounder. Houston gets 2025 third, 2025 seventh, and then next year's second and fourth from Washington. So let's say that the fourth rounders kind of cancel out.
Dude, four picks.
They don't even give up a first round pick for
That's
Laremy
what's even
Tunsil,
crazy about that, dude. They gave up nothing to get a great left tackle, and at the same time, it's a massive upgrade that they need. I'm just wondering on the other side, if you're Houston or a Houston fan, you're like, wait a minute, what? We did what to what?
Dude, CJ Stroud's thinking about
so
retiring.
Pissed right now. He's like, you got to be kidding me. We just talked about how I was taking too many hits, and you get rid of my left tackle, dude. Washington, massive upgrade. They know what they're doing. It's Adam Peters, right? Is that the guy that the GM?
Yes, he came from the Niners.
Frisco.
Such a good GM.
He is on the warpath, and whatever he sees is like turning to gold right now. And I love his ability to be like, you know what, we need more weapons on the outside. You know what, we need to keep him upright. And they don't just go after like somebody's like they could have went after Cooper Kupp. They were more like, no, we want the physicality of this player. We want this guy to be able to move around and play different positions. Like the same thing with Laremy Tunsil. He's a tough player. He's extremely athletic. He can move well for a left tackle. Like at times we were breaking down his film this year. We were like, this kid's fucking good.
His feet never move. Like they're just
they're
like
ridiculous.
Just
I honestly, I don't know how Houston was like, you know what? You're bending our arm. Take him. Like I would have been like, no, not going to happen. But Washington, man, watch out. Them and the Eagles, I love what they're doing.
Yeah,
and the Eagles are great at just like restocking through the draft. It's one of the best draft teams.
Right?
But they did lose. They lost a bunch of their pressures from last year. And speaking of like Milton Williams hits free agency as the most coveted youngest defensive tackle. And it sounded like some of the projected offers before free agency and some of the reports were like 21 million. And he winds up signing for $26 million a year with the Patriots.
Crazy.
That is the tax you have to pay as a bad team, right?
We just talked about it, right?
You guys have $100 million in cap space and you're terrible. Why don't you throw another $5 million on the top of that thing, and maybe I'll go play for you guys.
This is the NFL is always the people talk, but the money walks. Right, and no one embodies that more than Myles Garrett. Right, like listen, dude,
you're pissed. How much you want?
Yeah, like you don't want to go from here to Canton? I bet you will. It's like how badly do you actually like?
I demand out of here. I need to play for a winner. How does $40 million
a year?
Great.
I could live and die here. I think it'd be all right. Like Cleveland's not that bad, I guess. Like we can make it work. I mean, it's unbelievable.
The summers are great. There's some water. It's awesome.
Right. It'll be fine. No, dude, I'll be okay.
He wrote a public tweet that was like, I love Cleveland, but I want to win a Super Bowl. I'm out of here. All the reports were him and his agents drew a hard line in the sand. Right? Like not happening. Like 2 days later, it's like, 40 million, I guess. Like, I guess I can come back. Maybe.
I'll be here.
Unbelievable, dude.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
But how are they going to be? The question now is with all that dead money. I mean, Deshaun Watson's contract is an albatross. They had to push more money into the future.
Just paying Myles Garrett 40 didn't make your team any better.
No.
They stayed the same, but got more expensive.
Well, wait, no. They traded for Kenny Pickett, so they at least have somebody else in that room that can throw the football.
Stop it.
No? Okay.
I feel bad for Kevin. I really do. I can't imagine when he has to go
Kevin.
to work. We love him to death.
Man.
He's one of the nicest, greatest people ever. I just can't imagine going into work. I'd be like, what the fuck are we doing?
Is it fair
we
to
gave
say
all of our money away again to a guy already here?
Is it fair to say that the state of the Browns address is basically we are praying that Kirk Cousins gets cut by the Falcons sometime soon so he can be our starting quarterback?
You can't tell.
That's kind of where they're at.
I guarantee
I 100% believe that's exactly what they're hoping for.
How about this? Do you think that they've already called Aaron Rodgers like, hey, just shot in the dark? Aaron, dude, what do you think?
No,
what do you think?
No shot.
Oh, I guarantee you there was been a phone call like, hey, would he even consider
Should we text him? How about a text instead?
We'll
Should we text him?
We'll fly your ayahuasca guy up, right? Like
We'll
bring
meet.
We'll
in
bring the
Venezuela.
tribe to you, right? Like we'll make one here in Cleveland, and Myles will pay for it, right?
Yeah. Look what we just did. We paid a guy already here.
$40 million to Myles Garrett.
That's insane.
You know who's sitting there laughing about that is Trey Hendrickson. Right?
Oh,
Trey.
oh yeah. Trey.
I was talking to a buddy at City Group here tonight, and I was like, "Yeah, Trey Hendrickson led the league in sacks." He's like, "The goofy white guy." I was like, "Yep." Right? There's the specimens of the specimens on the edge, right? I mean, the Myles Garrett, and it's like Trey Hendrickson, no gloves, tapes his fingers, little pooch belly. Yeah, has the pooch belly, and he's out there just 17 sacks a year, right? Like, no problem. I mean, it's so.
Dude, you know who that reminds me of though? That was Jarrett Allen. Because I remember playing Jarrett, and I remember being like, "Who is this goofy white dude?" And everybody was like, "Right? Seriously, leads the league in sacks." And I was like, "But he was just so always with it, just the same thing, always." Technicians, that's why they were so good. But Trey Henderson, dude, one of the top fucking players in the league, and nobody has any idea, and he's about to get paid. But I'll tell you what, Cincinnati's got some problems of their own coming up soon. They don't start paying somebody.
Well, you know what? So was it their GM that came out at some point in the last few weeks talking about Jamar Chase, right? Saying we're working on making him the highest paid non-quarterback. The problem is when you say that, and the Browns go bonkers and pay Myles Garrett $40 million.
They probably turned around like, seriously? Seriously? Couldn't have waited 3 hours.
You know, the Browns
people are like, "Hey, what do you want us to do?"
Did you see Jamar's Instagram, by the way?
Was it the Pablo Escobar thing?
No, I know that was the group chat one. I'm pretty sure he had an Instagram story. He might have deleted it. Someone took a screenshot, or maybe it was fake. I don't know. I thought it was funny, but it was like the old T9 calculators, like the T89s. And on the top it said, "Know your worth," and underneath it said, "And then add taxes." I was like, oh boy.
I wouldn't be shocked if the Browns are in a spot, we're not going to win anything as a franchise. Let's just troll the Bengals. Right? Let's see.
We know that they just said this. "Hey, Myles, you want some more money just for fun?" I'll tell you what, if that's why they did it, they're fucking diabolical. I love that.
Unbelievable.
Okay, new mic. Let's have the Sam Darnold Seahawks discussion here.
Here we go.
Can I throw a takeout and you guys tell me if I'm crazy?
Please.
Go ahead, hit us.
So it's a $100 million 3-year contract with I want to say, is it $54 million guaranteed? So half of it's guaranteed.
58. Everything 58.
This contract says so many things about the Vikings, Seahawks, and the league's reaction to recent quarterback contracts. Mm-hmm. It's kind of bad luck for Sam Darnold that we've had year after year after year. You can be Jordan Love, played 8 good games as a rookie, $55 million a year. Tua gets concussed every month, month and a half, and he has to sit out, right? Not trying to make light of him, but $53 million. Kirk Cousins, Achilles, 36 years old, $45 million a year. And here comes Sam Darnold up to the window.
My turn.
Guys,
My turn.
This is great, right? 55,
Please, sir, can
60.
I have some more? Some more?
And this is the point where the league finally drew a line and said, all right, we're done with these ridiculous Deshaun Watson contract. We're done with all this stuff. So I actually think, because the league apparently drew a line in the sand, Darnold at $33 million a year is a great bargain for the Seahawks. The Vikings probably had some second thoughts along this way, like, boy, if it's only 30 or 33 and we know he can work in the system, it probably made them think about it. So I believe some of the reports. But Darnold at 33 or Dak at 60?
Yeah.
I'll take Darnold at 33.
Give me Darnold at 33
team, right?
all day. Absolutely, because you can save more money on the outside. Now, the problem is you just got rid of one of your biggest weapons on the outside. Who said he wanted out? But I still believe that Darnold will be great in this system because he is great at play action. And one of the biggest things is, man, he is on target. And what do you have in the backfield? Those 2 running backs. And between Charbonnet and Kenneth Walker, and it was great because when I got to talk to that coach, I almost started to get into it a little bit, and I was like, dude, I'm so excited for you. All you're going to do is tell these dudes to fucking run off the ball and fuck everybody up. Because guess what's going to happen every once in a while? We're going to mess with them, and it's going to be dude, everything about that's so fun. I do really think that I'm pissed that DK kind of left, because I think that I love seeing him in Seattle. But at the same time, I think this is awesome for them. Number one, they get a quarterback on the cheap. You can still go out and find other pieces. You can find other hardware out there that you're going to need. And at the same time, you get a young, hungry Sam who's like, you know what? I didn't probably get what I should have gotten, so now I'm going to go out and prove to everybody what I am. And that's what it seemed like he did this last year. Can he take that over to Seattle? I hope he can, because if he can, that makes the West so much more fun to watch, right? Like last year, they were up, and then they were way down, and then they were back up for a little bit, and then it was kind of this sputtering out system. So can they get the run game going? Can Sam get going? It's going to be a big year for them, man.
They have to find another receiver.
Of course they do.
They got rid of DK. They got rid of Lockett.
Yep.
Right. All that's left is Smith and Jigba. Who's
Pretty
a stud,
much.
and I think he can be a wide receiver one in this
Diggs,
league.
Cooper Kupp's going to get cut. There's
plenty.
There's
There's going to be some dudes,
but that system needs the guy that can take the top off, right?
Yep.
And I don't think. And
Adam
Jigba's
Thielen.
fast.
Wait, no.
Stop it.
Shut.
Stop
Oh my
it.
God, ding him
Stop it.
right. That's an Eddie Haskell right there.
Yeah,
God.
right? That Kubiak offense has to have a receiver that can blow the top off of it,
Dude,
right? That play
technically,
action,
Diggs.
deep in. I mean, Diggs would be a great one, I think, for them to pick up. I don't see Kupp being a guy. Maybe he is, because he's that shifty slot receiver that's not really in the Kubiak bag of tricks, right?
No.
It's guys that can get stair step at 10 and 11, put their foot in the ground, and blow past the safeties because they're cheating up on that outside zone system that they like to run. But man, that's the Seahawks. It was kind of writing on the wall, I think, when they got rid of Geno.
Yeah.
Like, you don't trade Geno Smith without an absolute backup plan, because it definitely was not going to be someone else. Like that had to be, you really felt good about signing Sam Darnold, or else there's no way you let Geno walk as early as he did, or trade him the way you did.
But the play action stuff, like it's a Kubiak offense.
Yep.
You can lean into the run game, and we brought this up last week.
You lean hard on the run
Stat
game.
of the week: Sam Darnold had a 130 passer rating in play action.
Oh, you
last
don't
year.
say. You don't say.
So, yeah, they do need another weapon or two.
Pretty
but
good.
It's also like personality wise, he's a West Coast guy.
Yep.
There was some chatter about maybe the Giants. Like he's not going back to New York and that.
No,
market.
I think we were joking
No
about
shit,
that, dude.
dude.
That was a total joke. But
Yeah,
you know
but-
what else?
but it was
Hey,
being
so you know what
reported
else
outside
Seattle's
the
going to need is a tight end, because don't they have Noah Fant, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do they have anybody else? Because if you're going to be in that
they
play
did.
action,
Sam Bobo. Is it
don't know.
Bobo? I don't know. He was good.
either
last
way,
year.
you're
I liked
going
him
to
last
need
year.
somebody in that system, especially if you're going to be this play action, because those are the dudes you find the most open, right down the middle of the field, because everyone's stepping up, and then it's a mismatch on him and the safeties. But at the same time, dude, I love the signing of him going out there. Super fun.
Jake Bobo and AJ Barner were a couple other targets kind of down the depth chart, but
I mean,
Noah Fant
dude,
had
they
48
should go.
catches.
You know who they should draft? The Colston Loveland kid from Michigan.
Oh, the tight end, yeah.
He'd be a great fit.
He's a big kid too, isn't he?
He's huge. He's
Yeah.
enormous. He'd be a great fit for that tight end right over the middle. Heard it here first, Colston Loveland.
Let's do it. Talk to
Hey, why wouldn't I know the Steelers, as we sit here doing this show, they have not officially signed or agreed to terms with Aaron Rodgers yet, but it sounds like it's headed that direction. So I could see if it was like $45 million for Darnold, or take a flyer on a year of Rodgers at $33 million, and it's maybe 2 years guaranteed. If I'm the Steelers, and that maybe Darnold didn't want to play for the Steelers, he wanted to go out west, so it takes two to tango. But I'm kind of shocked that the Steelers weren't bigger players at that price for Sam Darnold, especially after acquiring Arthur Smith's offense, play action heavy, down the field passes, Pickens, DK Metcalf. Kind of felt like that might be perfect for Sam Darnold.
They cannot get in a cage fight with the DBs every
I was
play.
going to say, this is going to be
Dude,
amazing. Dude.
Tomlin-
And then you put Aaron in there. Oh, my God.
Are you guys Peaky Blinders fans at all? Have you
no, I
watched
haven't
Peaky
been.
Blinders?
Used to be.
No.
Used to be.
There's this scene where he gathers, the main character gathers everyone. He's like, no fighting. No fighting. No effing fighting, right? And I feel like that's going to be the day one. He's going to bring in George Pickens and DK Metcalf and sit him down and be like, listen to me. No fighting. And they'll go, yeah, got it, coach. First DB they get out there, just people's elbow right to the corner.
Dude, that's why they need Aaron Rodgers out there with them.
No.
They need, no, they
shot,
do.
dude.
They
No,
need,
no,
I need
no.
to see this, because listen, if Mike Tomlin can take this team led by Aaron Rodgers with George Pickens on one side and DK Metcalf on the other and take them to a winning season, you put that man in the Hall of Fame immediately. Immediately. Could you imagine how much comedy we would get from that season?
Dude, both those receivers powder.
You have to
they're powders, dude.
It'd be amazing. Especially because they just lost Najee Harris. So it's like now you're really kind of screwed.
I'm just having a very vivid image of DK like poking Aaron in the chest. Like, why did you throw me the ball? Yeah. Right? And then he turns around and there's George Pickens like, I want the football too.
That's the thing. I feel like Aaron
doesn't want to deal with any of that. None of that.
But Sam is the guy that I feel like he's kind of Teflon. You could kind of let Sam have it for a half hour, and he'll just take it and go walk out to the huddle and take the snap. Aaron Rodgers is gonna. I don't know, man.
Do you think
good luck
he
to
lose
Mike Tomlin
his shit?
I bet you he puts in his contract he can go on the McAfee show, right? Because that was like a huge thing. I bet
wasn't that part of the what? I think
Jets,
was it
the Jets told him he couldn't, right?
But then like he strong-armed them back or something.
And then he was like, okay, well, then you can go. Right.
I thought it was the Giants was there a report that the Giants in these sort of backroom discussions had a problem with him being on that show and that would have to be addressed if you were to go to the Giants?
I don't think the Giants want no more media ever. Right.
Oh, yeah, clearly.
The Giants killed Hard Knocks, right? Like they did. Hard Knocks will no longer exist. Like even Bill Belichick pulled out. I mean, Hard Knocks no longer has a home. They're going to have to go to somewhere else because
it's been a good run, 25-year run.
Yeah, it was a good time. It was a good time, but sometimes
are we sure?
Sometimes the Wizard of Oz, you don't want to look at the man behind the kid, right? Don't look at the man behind the curtain, man. You don't.
The funniest flip ever. Are we sure this is smart? Yeah, no. Let him go. He'll be fine.
I'm not going to sleep well if he goes to the Eagles. Like, oh man, not good.
I never laughed so hard.
Not good.
Super Bowl montage.
Oh, I love it.
2,000-yard montage.
Yeah,
the rest of the quarterback carousel here, just your guys' thoughts on Justin Fields to the Jets, 2 years, $40 million. I mean, Geno to the Raiders is a discussion.
We know why Geno's going to the Raiders.
Pete Carroll,
Papa Pete's back.
Papa Pete's there, which I'm all about. I love the Papa Pete connection. I like the Lockett connection. I wish they would have got DK, but I'm interested to see what happens. They've obviously just paid Max Crosby. He's also like the second highest paid non-quarterback ever, so it's interesting. But I think I'm more intrigued by the Jets one because I think I'm wondering what are the Jets going to do with one of the because they have pick number 2 or is it 3?
No, they're at 7.
No, they're at
7.
7.
So the Giants have 3. Giants have 3.
Sorry, Giants. So I'm wondering, is Justin Fields going to be our starter? Are you going to roll out with something?
It's a gap year. It's
what it is.
It's a we're the Jets.
Could we
take a breather for a minute?
It's a structure thing. How did they structure it? Is it a true 1-year deal with a chance to get out in year 2? Because I agree. I think if you're picking at 7 this year, you're not going to take 7. You're not going to take a Jackson Dart, right? You're not going to, Shedeur, if he's there, you're not going to really want to do that again after what you just had with Aaron Rodgers and the headache that might come with
What about Cam Ward? Do you think Cam Ward is somebody
he'll be gone in the top 3. He'll be.
Say he's not the Wild World. Do you take him at 3?
There is no situation.
Or at 7?
They're at 7.
Yeah.
Right? No, I don't think you do. Right? I really don't. And I agree with Mackey on this. This is a bridge year. Let's punt and find another quarterback down the road. Fields showed he can win, right? He won with the Steelers. Can he come in and make this offense exciting again, right? Running around,
really
doing some things.
He can win, though. Like his teams have lost a ton of games.
But they rely a lot on their defense. But I agree, though, and I think one of the biggest problems is when you lose Davante Adams. Like, the minute you shipped him out, too, you shipped a huge weapon. And I don't know if you had to do that or if he wanted out or whatever it was, but I'm like, dude, listen, that team with Davante and Justin Fields, okay, I can live with that because then you got Breece Hall in the backfield.
Davante's gone, my man.
I know, that's why I'm wondering why.
Davante's gone, and Garrett Wilson wants out, too.
Yeah, but if you would have kept Davante, Garrett Wilson's still there. You have Breece Hall there, and it's like, okay, that's not a bad team. We can maybe win some shit with that. But now it's like, I don't know what's going on out there.
Fields
but you're right. It's
is
just another gap
irrelevant to this. Here's what it is. It's a 2-year, $40 million deal, $30 million guaranteed. This is we don't know what our future at quarterback is.
Right.
So let's bring him in as a flyer, and if it doesn't work, we can just move off it after the first year. He is one of the 35-ish best quarterbacks in the world. Like, he's a professional. He has started 50 games. So let's just do it while we try to figure out our new coach and our new culture. It literally is like going back to school for the Jets, and they don't know what the future. He's irrelevant to the future of that franchise, I think.
I don't think that was not. I mean, that's the going rate for. Obviously, that was the going rate for a free agency starting quarterback. It had to be in that price range. You weren't going to get Justin Fields for less than that, right? No. It wasn't going to happen. So, I think that was more of a flyer on the wall, and let's see what happens in the next couple of years. And Aaron Glenn, can you make something out of this?
Right.
Yeah, and then Gina to the Raiders, that does not prevent them, I don't think, from if Shedeur were to fall to 6, I think there's a world where they could draft Shedeur and Geno Smith becomes a somewhat expensive backup quarterback.
Yeah,
because we don't know where Shedeur is going to go. So
that'll be interesting. All right, another mic.
Yeah, new mic. Let's do it.
Here we go. You ready? Najee Harris to the Chargers, dude. we were talking about it. Eventually, after like halfway through the season, it was like, okay, so everyone's figured out we don't have a running back, a real running back. But it's funny because you talk about a team that dominates people through running the ball, and they just needed this one piece. And they need some pieces on the outside, and I think they can address that in the draft. But I think going out and getting Najee Harris was a huge pickup for the Chargers. Massive ad, something that they can lean on, and that's what Giro's offense wants to do. They don't always want to throw the ball so much. Like, I know that people talked this year about how they cut way back this year, and all of a sudden you're like, oh, dude, it's not going to be the same throws. It's really not until you get the run game going, and that's when you get people out of position in these massive chunk plays. But until then, you're just dinking and diming your way down there.
Yeah, and that fits what Harbaugh wants.
Oh,
like, Harbaugh saw Najee Harris, and I think he walked in and was like, that guy here now, right?
Now.
It's an immediate upgrade from J.K. Dobbins and Gus Edwards. I mean,
don't talk about the Gus bus like that.
I love the Gus bus, but you're telling me Najee's not a better runner than both those guys?
Doesn't sound like it. Listen. Oh, Najee's a stud. There's no question.
He's the only thing that's kept that. He's the only thing that's kept that offense relevant for the last 4 years.
Literally, I agree with that 100.
I mean, without him, that offense is completely irrelevant for 4 years.
But that's why it's exciting. You put him behind this offensive line now. It's going to be exciting to see what happens, especially because one of the things that I think you could dominate a Kansas City with is, like, if you can get a good run game going, a good offense keeps their offense on the sidelines. So you're just churning butter. You're beating up on their defense. It's one of the things that when you look at them schematically, they're built to rush the passer and they're built to blitz. And all of a sudden it's like, okay, let's see if they want to blitz when we're running trap or we're running crunch or we're running wham or running power, counter, whatever it is that they're running. Like, that shit starts to end. And they're like, okay, we can't just throw nickel DBs through the A gap anymore because somebody ate one of them. And now we got problems. Like, we have to put really big dudes out there. And guess what? That's when Giro's like, now we go up top. Like, he used to love that kind of stuff. And that's what they need to get this offense going. Super excited for him. Can't wait to see what happens.
Yeah, he can catch passes. He's going to help you score touchdowns in the red zone too. He's never been, his career average is like under 4 yards a carry, so he's not like a Saquon Barkley or on that level. But
well, to be fair, I mean, he has been running behind some really rough offensive lines for his career. So let's see what happens when he runs behind some big
that's the thing.
boys.
Dude, Najee's got to be so bummed. Like, they finally invested heavily into the offensive line last year, and now they're like, you can go. Right, because I mean, they drafted Troy Fontenot in the first, Mason McCormick in the fourth, Zach Frazier in the third. Like, they invest heavily into the offensive line, and then they're like, and you, who've carried us when we've had nothing, you can go. Right,
you can leave now.
He's got to be a little bummed.
Hey, I just saw that Josh Ballmer signed with the Bills 3 years. I don't know if that's new or not.
That's a big signing for them too. He's a guy. He's going to be a guy that elevates because of Josh Allen.
Yep.
Right, he was good. He was good in L.A., but he's a guy that's going to become a wide receiver one type capability. You pair him with Shakir, that's a big time signing for them too.
And Shakir just signed a deal for another extension, dude. I think they're going to be tough. They will be.
Don't forget Josh Dobbs. Josh Dobbs to the Patriots there, Mac, the Pastronaut.
That's right.
Oh,
it was a 2-year deal, by the way. I didn't know Josh Dobbs was
$8 million.
Was in the 2-year deal market.
Well, dude, we played the wrong position, Booney.
We sure did.
You go out and be
money.
No,
Nick Mullins. Nick Mullins too. Nick Mullins.
You didn't play the wrong position. You played in the wrong era because, dude, some of these contracts today. So Patrick McCarry.
It's the Banks one that blows my mind.
Well, yeah, and it's kind of funny money. It's
how about the Jaguars? They went crazy
guaranteed.
too. Macari, and they went gotten Hainsey. They were like, we need to upgrade up front. Clearly, we can't see our quarterback being driven off the field anymore repeatedly week after week in the golf cart, giving the thumbs up. Like, eventually the fans think you're just lying to them. We got to go out and do something out here. I was excited about that. Finally spending some money.
Do you think some of the crazy money being spent on good but not elite offensive linemen, and even there's been some defensive contracts?
Okay, easy.
Do you think this is a reaction to, hey, the Eagles, look what they did there, and the Lions, right? Look what they're doing up front. So let's just go get the third guy on the free agent list and give him $15 million.
This is what happens every year, though. Like, every year teams go crazy in free agency because we just said they've whiffed on 3 guys already today, and they're like, if we turn around and tell the fan base that we just signed a long snapper and that's it, we're all getting canned. So they go out and they look and they go, what do we need? Let's throw money at it. This will fix all our problems. And then you look down the road, 2 years down the road, and everyone's gone. And you're like, what the hell happened? But right now, everybody's so happy. And teams are happy too. I mean, you're going out, you're getting great players. I mean, obviously, we talked about it earlier, but like the Bears. Like, if you woke up at the Bears this morning and you were like, this is going to be amazing. Like, we've just upgraded our whole offensive line. One of the biggest issues last year. Now we can take another step forward. Now we can go hit the draft as a real team. Like, so many teams got so much better today. And yeah, you're going to have to throw money at it sometimes. That's how it goes.
And it's always that thing where, like, everyone's really happy. But I go back to when we signed Kirk Cousins as a Viking franchise. Fans have to remember this. And this is what happens. Just because a guy makes a ton of money doesn't mean he's an all-pro, right? Because that's sometimes what happens is you see a guy that signs a huge deal, and you're like, oh my gosh, this dude must be the best player in the world. It's like, or he was just the best available in this free agency, so he demanded this much money. It doesn't mean just because you pay him more, he becomes a drastically better player.
Yeah.
And that's a trap that so many teams fall into and so many fan bases fall into is Drew Dalman, great player. Not taking anything away from him. I think he's a very good center. Is he going to come in and be the next Jason Kelce? No. Like, he's not that guy, right? And there's enough guys in that realm that it is interesting to always pan out and see, like, what people call a successful signing versus a non-successful signing in 2-3 years. You're like, no, that guy just played the same that he always did. He just got more money. I don't know what to tell you. Like, that is who he always was. Like, so I don't know. It's always interesting when people overreact sometimes to the just because you get paid more doesn't make you a better player.
Yeah. No, it's true. And there's
there's
some positions too. I feel like
we gave you 50. Oh, I feel much more powerful.
You don't say. I feel unleashed now.
It's also, I think, like, guard is a position that you're not usually drafting in the first round, and it's like we'll get to it later in the draft kind of a thing. Yep. Or, you know what, we got $50 million in money to spend on free agents this year, so there's some positions that tend to just get overpaid more than others, and I feel like guard is becoming that the last few years.
For sure.
Overpaid.
There's been some dudes.
Watch yourself, Brody.
Well,
Watch
no.
yourself.
Not
relative to, like,
higher
the market
priority. Higher priority, right? Because forever and always, like Mackey's situation, if I'm a GM and I've got $50 million in cap space and I'm sitting there going, okay, who do I want to sign? Ooh, look at this flashy edge player, right? Ooh, sacks, right? Or this steady Eddie, boring milquetoast wide left guard. Give me the edge player, right? Like, that's what happens every single time. Or, like, do we want the wide receiver 3? The wide receiver 3, hey, he ran 4.2 at the combine 4 years ago. Ooh, right? Or do you want this big blob over here at right tackle? Give me the wide receiver, right? That's what always happens. But I think, to Mackey's point, it has been flipped a little bit where you have to invest in the guys up front, or it doesn't matter how shiny the toys are on the outside. It doesn't happen. They can't get the ball to them.
Yep.
I just love that a long snapper got signed. You guys mentioned earlier today. It's big time.
Cowboys. Only the Cowboys can do some
someone. I don't know who it was. Maybe it was Schultz or Ian. I don't know. But it was like Cowboys make a splash, right? It was like Cowboys make a splash in free agency.
Sodom. Oh, man.
Also, I'm trying to figure out how the Chiefs are going to pay everyone as well, because they now have.
You let them worried about that. Okay.
So many people on big time contracts. Creed's the highest paid center. You just tagged franchise tag Trey Smith, which the franchise tag is 23.4.
How about Nick Bolton? $45 million you gave him.
Nick Bolton. You signed Hollywood Brown to another $11 million deal. You just signed Jalen Moore, who I actually had to look this guy up, and maybe this is my ignorance. 2 years, $30 million contract. I'm fairly certain he spot started for Trent Williams this year, didn't he?
Not anymore. You're the big dog out there, buddy.
I mean, I don't understand how they're going to do it. They just keep paying everybody all the time, and they kick the can down the road. But
there it goes.
Wild.
Kick.
I don't know
who else I heard was kicking the can down the road? I heard that Derek Carr took something in he pushed his contract back next year to next year's cap hit is $70 million.
Yeah, I saw
and
that.
Somebody was like, I think the report I read was like, man, they're really kicking the can down the road.
That's been their life as a franchise for years.
They always play wild down there.
Somehow they make it under the cap by the skin of their teeth every single year. It's just
go Nola, dude.
Right there.
Well,
Mickey
every
Loomis
single
is
team, every other team on the Monday and Tuesday is trying to add players, and the Saints are sitting in a room with 15 calculators trying to figure out, we got $10 million more. What can we do?
Monday, we have
calling the owners like, hey, we did it again. Can you guys write another check for cash, please?
We're gonna need another big check to a lot of players.
All right, boys. I think that's a wrap here on the first day of the legal tampering period.
That was great.
There's more coming down the pipeline tomorrow and all throughout the week.
Love a good second wave.
So we will hit you guys with a second episode. If not tomorrow, we'll see what pops up in the morning.
Hopefully Aaron Rodgers signs with the Steelers, so we can talk about that.
I mean, so who's still out there? Will Fries.
Yeah.
Will Fries, premier free agents. Will Fries is probably still the top guard now.
Yeah, Tevin for offensive linemen, Will Fries, Mekhi Becton, Tevin Jenkins.
Yep.
The old Codgers, Brandon Scherf, Kevin Zeitler, who if either one of those guys wants one.
I'm shocked he's not signed, but I know why he's not. He's asking for too big of a price tag.
Oh, I'm sure.
Right? And Booney, you know this too, because
he'll lose his spot.
Every single minute that passes by after this morning open free agency, the price goes down. The price goes down. Every second that ticks by, the price is going down, right? And I think that if you can overprice yourself, because here's how this happens. Your representatives meet with said team at any given time and say, hey, his price is 19, right? And they're going, ooh, okay, sounds good. His price is 19. That's well out of our price range, when in reality, his price is probably 14, right? And then they go, okay, well, he's at 19. We can't get him. Let's go sign the guard for 14. Right? And then that team fills up, and then the next team fills up, and then the next
spend all your money right away.
And then all of a sudden they come back and they're like, hey, actually, we'd take 14. And they're like, sorry, we already paid a guy. And now some team who's just waiting to undercut someone's like, we'll take him at 12. Right? That's how sometimes free agents can price themselves out. So I'm super curious to see, because he's a really fascinating situation.
Yeah.
He's a true one-hit wonder, right?
But I'm surprised he's not signed already by somebody. It's probably because, like you said, price point's a little bit high.
A little high.
Jay made a great example, and I was always kind of taught that the teams, when they're like little kids in store with money, when they first get in there, they're not afraid to spend it, so they're going to go nuts. But then when they realize how much they spent, they're going to turn around and be like, okay, now I'm not spending anything. And so it's like the second wave always gets hit the worst, and then the third wave there barely is one. So you're like, man, if you don't go in one, you are done. It just, like Jay says, you're dropping so much money every minute.
Yeah, I feel like Becton's 25 years old too, though.
Oh, so he's going to get paid.
You could wind up, if you buy low because he whiffs on the first wave of free agency, you could wind up getting a guy that gets better over the course of a 3-year contract.
I wouldn't be shocked. I wouldn't be shocked if he tries to sign maybe even a 1 year. Right? Be like, okay, this is what you guys think. All right, sign me to a 1 year 12, and then next year
I'll get the 20.
I'm going to go get the 20.
And hey,
right?
Before we go, we cannot not say Ronnie Stanley. Congratulations, signing back with the Ravens.
60? What do you get? 60 million?
Yeah, we knew he was too, by the way. We knew there was no way they were going to let him. Well, we said it. If you have a good left tackle, you are not letting him go unless you're Houston. And then we're looking at you like, hey, we used to like you, but now we don't.
Yeah, we love you.
You used to be.
You see them
not anymore.
Picks? We love them draft picks.
We sure do.
All right, boys.
Boy.
The second ever live stream, O-line committee. We got Booney, we got Sirles. If you haven't already clicked that subscribe button and the like button, do so. Help us keep growing this thing. Tell some friends about the O-line committee. And then Apple, Spotify, too, a 5-star rating and a positive review. Help us out there, too. So, all right, dudes.
Till tomorrow.
Heck of a first day of legal tampering.
It's always the best, dude.
That was amazing.
And Booney didn't get canceled. So congratulations
Not
to
yet.
all of us.
We should do this live more. This was exciting.
We should.
It is exciting.
I can't imagine what I would say.
You're a wild card, so I never know. I never know what to do with you.
It's okay.
The 5:30 a.m. live YouTube stream.
We're done with those.
Huge audience.
No one wants to see that.
No one would have done that. No. It's terrible.